response to the incident yesterday at the AFL, where a group unfurled a banner saying "Stop the Mosques," tells us a lot about the double standards, the hypocrisy, and the ignorance of so many in the media and the political class in this country. The fact is that being opposed to a mosque does not make you a racist. Mosques are not a race. Mosques are not like other places of worship. Mosques are not like churches, synagogues or temples, and Islam is not like the other major world religions of Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism or Buddhism. Those four major religions are primarily concerned with acts of worship and acts of service. While Islam may include some of that, it is also a totalitarian ideology with both political and military aspirations. Mosques are places where the Quran, the Hadiths, and an example of the so-called Prophet Muhammad are promoted, encouraged, endorsed. You don't have to go very far to realise we do not want people like the Prophet Muhammad running around in this country. We don't want people who enslave others, who marry children underage, who are violent and get all upset and react inappropriately when somebody doesn't agree with them. That's not what we want in Australia. We don't want the Quran that has over 100 verses inciting, condoning and justifying violence against non-believers. We know that ISIS and Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups use the Quran and the Hadiths as justification for their behaviours. But it's not just the terrorist organisations. It is Saudi Arabia, it is Pakistan, Yemen, Egypt and many other countries that use the Quran, the Hadiths, the example of the so-called Prophet Muhammad, to justify their oppression of women, their absolutely appalling behaviour towards gays and other minority groups. And it is in the mosques that these teachings are promoted. We need to have a very serious conversation about mosques in this country. We need to have a very serious conversation about Islam in this country. People resort to unfurling banners because the media refuses to have this debate and because politicians speak condescendingly towards anyone who is opposed to a mosque or to Islam itself. Well, I want to challenge, whether it's the current politicians or whether it's the media, Channel 9, Channel 7, Channel 10, ABC, SBS. Come on, let's have a debate. Let's have a discussion about the appropriateness of mosques in Australia. Let's have a debate and a discussion about the fact that there are weapons being stored in the mosque, that it was Parramatta Mosque where the gun was supplied for the Curtis Cheng murder. Let's have this conversation. I can assure you that in standing with the Australian Liberty Alliance, we will call a spade a spade. We will not back down when it comes to having this conversation. We will hold the political elite to account for the security of this nation and for cohesiveness in our communities. It is not us that is divisive. It is Islam that is divisive. Islam divides Muslims and non-Muslims, men and women. It divides when, according to clothing, halal, haram, you name it. It is Islam that is divisive. And yesterday comments were made that that sign was all about bigotry. Well, mosques promote bigotry. Bigotry towards women, bigotry towards others who aren't Muslims. Let's have an honest debate about these things.